Ryzeal just got better, but can it keep up with Maliss? Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Heraldic, what is this? Ryzeal? Why did I want to call this Ritual Beast? I don't know. Anyway, here we have a Heraldic Ryzeal, which is the new engine that you can play alongside the Ryzeal cards to give them additional options. And most notably, what this deck does, the Heraldic cards, is that it allows you to go first more effectively by just like hand looping the opponent. I'll show you the combo because it never actually happened in game due to the fact that if anyone actually saw me play Ryzeal, they would just immediately surrender. Yeah. Anyway, you'll see it in the replays. But yeah, let's just quickly go through the card by card. We're starting off with the Ryzeal cards. It's pretty standard here. 3 Ryzeal Sword, 3 Ice, the 1 apiece of Node and Star, and of course 2 X alongside it. Things like 7th Tachyon and 7th Ascension to get us additional access to our guys, and the Bonfire. We're also playing, of course, the 1 apiece of Cross and only Plugin. Why are we only playing Plugin? Well, because our combo doesn't rely on the trap to actually do anything. So we're more reliant on just getting additional guys, which is what the Heraldic cards do. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Heraldic cards. We're playing quite a few of them. We are playing 2 Leo, which if sent to the graveyard can add a Heraldic Beast from deck to your hand, which is very nice. We're also playing 2 Griffin, which can send another Heraldic Beast monster to the grave in order to special summon itself, and then you are locked into only summoning Xyz monsters from the extra deck using your Heraldic Beast monsters. Now, this sounds worse than it actually can end up being, but it is still something you want to keep in mind. But notably, it also allows you to use this card as 2 material for a Xyz monster that requires 3 material, which is pretty nice, except for the fact that it only really works with Masquerade. But that is something to keep in mind. However, we still have things like Ouroboros that do require 3, which is not going to actually be useful for this because it's, yeah, that effect just doesn't apply. But we also have, of course, our Stad Whale, which is our basically brick. It's our normal summon. It's what we want to use our normal summon on, and I'll show you how that happens. But if this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard a card in order to add 2, specifically 2 Heraldry spell traps from your deck to your hand. Now, why is this important? The other effect also allows you reborn 2 guys, which is pretty nice. But that is because we can use them to go into Advanced Heraldry Art, which if you, well, basically it's a spell card that's not once per turn, that targets 2 Heraldic Beasts, and then uses them for an Xyz summon. So you target 2 in the grave, you reborn them, and then you Xyz summon with them. It's incredibly powerful, and it allows you to basically extend really, really far, which is why we can play Ouroboros. And I'll show you the combo with how to get the technical hand loop, but it's extremely difficult to actually accomplish the hand loop effectively, especially without Eclipse Twin, but just in general. So there's that. But that's why we're playing 2 of this, is that we can actually rip 2 cards, actually 3 cards out of our opponent's hand, depending on the combo. So there's that. As for the rest of the cards, it's pretty simple. It's just the standard Ryzeal stuff, the Masquerade for the Tachyon. We could also technically play the other Masquerade, I think it's the level 5 or the rank 5, to grab Lancia as well if we wanted to, but we'd have to cut something, and I didn't really feel comfortable cutting anything. I feel like all of the other things have come up a ton and are extremely useful. Then we're playing the Exciton Knight. We're playing the Heraldry Patriarch, which if sent to the graveyard sends 2 Heraldic Beasts to the grave, which is also very nice. Because guess what? This is what we're doing. We're sending this to the graveyard off of the effect of Ext, so that you can chain it, or not chain it, but activate it in order to send to the graveyard Leo, which then searches the Stad Whale. That's more or less what the combo does. We're also playing Tornado Dragon, Baguska, Starliege, Dugaris, Infernal Flame Banshee. We're playing 1 Duo Drive and 2 Detonator, and then the 1 Aggregator and 1 Typhon. And that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replay and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you what we can accomplish off of a single Ext. Ext is the most important. It's the card you want to see the most of. So there's that. Anyway, we're gonna go chainlink 1 Patriarch, and then chainlink 2 Ext. Ext is going to grab Sword here. Now, if you get hand trapped, you can pivot at any point, but this is going to showcase the more full combo. So we're going to send 2 Leo to the graveyard. You could also send Leo and Griffin. Doesn't really matter. Just grab this Stad Whale. Now, we get to special summon out the Sword. We're going to activate the effect of Sword. We're going to then search out Star Ryzeal. I know, crazy. Keep with me. We're then going to immediately go into the Infernal Flame Banshee and activate its effect in order to search out the Ice. The game is too slow, I'm not going to lie. We're going to grab up the Ice here. We're going to then special summon out the Star and detach the last material from the Infernal Flame Banshee and activate the Star effect. Star is going to grab us the Cross, and we're going to activate Cross effect here. Then we are going to normal summon Stad. Stad effect is going to activate, and we are going to send it to the graveyard. Doesn't matter. We're going to send this Meowls. But as long as you have a thing to send, you're off to the races from that position. Now we are going to go for the Advanced Heraldry Art, and at this point the opponent could Nibiru you, doesn't matter. We're going to go for the Leo here in order to go and grab up these two necessary materials to go for the Duo Drive. Hip hip hooray. Now Duo Drive effect is going to activate. We're going to attach another material to it. Fantastic, you'll love to see it. We're going to go Duo Drive here, and we're going to attach another material to it. Awesome. Here we can go and special summon out the Ice, pitching the Infernal Flame Banshee, and then we get to go and make our Ouroboros. Ouroboros number 1. Now we are under protection from Nibiru, which is fantastic, but out comes the Ouroboros. Hip hip hooray. We're going to activate its effect, and we are going to pitch the Stad Whale. Doesn't really matter too much, because we're going to detach another material from it, but now we get to go for the Duo Drive, and we're going to detach a Leo, and something from the Ouroboros here, in order to add Node and Plugin. Yay! So out comes Node and Plugin, and these are pretty important here, because we're going to start off here by going Node, and we're going to activate the effect of Node in order to send away the Ouroboros. Here we're just going to reborn, doesn't really matter which one, but we're just going to reborn one of them, and then we are going to go into our... sorry, nothing at this point. Here, we are going to go for the Advanced Heraldry Art, and we're going to special summon out 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Hip hip hooray, and we're going to go Dugaris. Why Dugaris? Because we are specifically trying to rip as many cards out of the opponent's hand as possible. We are not trying to make the best end board. If we wanted to make the best end board here, we would go instead for something like Starliege, and we would... well, I'll show you. But we would normally go like Starliege here and then have the targetable indestructible field, which is very nice. However, we're not doing that. We're trying to rip as many cards out of our opponent's hand as possible. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to special summon a guy. Doesn't really matter too much which one. We're going to special summon Star here, I guess. And then we are going to go for Ouroboros. Yay, Ouroboros. Out comes this guy. We are going to rip another card out of our opponent's hand, and we still have the plugin. Do you know what plugin does? That's right, it rips another card out of our opponent's hand, because what we get to do is we get to go for the plugin here, we get to activate its effect in order to reborn the Ouroboros again, and we get to activate the effect of the Ouroboros one more time by detaching from it again, in order to go into, or in order to rip another card out of our opponent's hand. So there's the 3-hand rip combo. It's okay, it's not great. And for the most part, you could just end on the 2-hand rips, and more or less accomplish the same thing, because, yeah, well, I should say, you can accomplish similar things, which is you rip 2 cards out of the opponent's hand and leave them on significantly fewer resources, but because it is a random rip as opposed to a targeted rip, I don't think it's as worth it to go for 3. And as you can see, like, our board is not great, right? There are ways to, like, potentially do more, right? Like, for example, if you had an additional Heraldic, you could, like, banish Stad Whale from this position, and then, like, reborn 2 guys to go for, like, a Baguska on top of this, and then you have, like, Baguska as, like, additional protection, or like a Starliege, or a Tornado Dragon, or something of that nature, right? There's, like, additional points that you could potentially do, but it's very few and far between. It's not like you can end on Detonator here if you want to go for the 3-hand rip. So, there's that. It's okay. However, again, if you go for 2 and just do the plug-in line and don't try and make the 3rd Ouroboros, or the 2nd Ouroboros, I guess, you can end on a lot more. You can go Duo Drive, Starliege, Baguska, and, like, the 2-hand rips. And I think you could probably also end on Detonator. But don't quote me on that. So yeah, there's a lot more that you can do, but as you can see, like, the Heraldic stuff just adds more rank 4. So, there you go. Alrighty, so here we are going first, and let's showcase what this deck can do. First and foremost, we're going to start off here with going for Ascension. Ascension is going to grab up the Tachyon, and no Droll, PogChamp, no Droll. We're going to reveal the X and grab up the X, putting back Heraldry Art. This is one of the benefits of playing the 7th Tachyon. Because Stadwhale specifically needs to search out 2 spells, we're only playing 2, but we can put it back. We can also put back, like, Stadwhale if we really wanted to. But yeah, there you go. So we're going to go for the combo that you previously saw, which is pretty much the exact same, except for the fact that they are going to Fool Lost Me, and then Fool Lost Me again. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Now I could just, like, make Baguska here, but I'm going to go a little bit further. We're going to grab up the Heraldry Arts here, and then I'm going to Xyz into the Duo Drive, and since we pitched a, whatchamacallit, I'm like, okay, that's fine. We're going to go for the node here. We're going to then reborn a guy. I don't know why I did this the way that I did, but it's fine. We're going to go for the Star Leash here, and then we are going to reborn 2 and make Baguska as well. It's not, like, the best, but we did get stopped at quite a few points. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just make, like, this half board. But it's still very, very powerful because it is an indestructible, untargetable end board with Baguska. So, yeah. Granted, of course, they can just, like, go to combat, right, with, like, a Link monster, but it does require specifically a Link monster. Anyway, they are playing Finksmith, White Forest. Anyway, they're going to go for Sequence here into Lacrima, then they're going to go for the LZ, just special summoning itself. No, they actually special summon the Stellar, and go into Apo. They're going to go and walk into our Baguska, and at this point, the game is not looking good. We still have to chew through the Apo and whatever they are able to accomplish here off of the Engraver. But alas, it looks like they don't really have any other point of extension. So it looks like we're okay. Again, our board is still untargetable and indestructible, or at least via card effect, right? So I'm feeling pretty good, and our extenders are impeccable, right? Ice as a phenomenal normal summon, Heraldry Art to just reborn and, like, off to the races we go, right? So it's not terrible, right? We even have Duo Drive as well. We're going to start off here with the Heraldry Art, which, of course, they have Called By. I mean, what else would they have? So we're going to normal summon the Ice here. They're going to go for Apo. I'm going to special summon Sword here, and they can't Apo there, and I think they see the writing on the wall and just concede. Yeah, they only had the 2 negates off of Apo because of Duo Drive. Duo Drive's effect is very, very funny. Alright, here we are going second, and gee, I wonder what we're playing against. Could it maybe possibly be Mathmech? Mathmech? Yeah, I guess. I don't really see the purpose of playing Mathmech when Maliss exists, but okay, go off, King. Except for the fact that I'm lying to you. Stop. Stop right there, you criminal scum. Oh, it was Maliss. Well, anyway, we have Lancia, so let's see what my opponent can do. We also have a very strong hand. It may not look it, but it actually is, because 7th Tachyon. Now, granted, if that doesn't resolve, we do immediately die. So let's see what my opponent is on. They're going Terahertz. Oh, no. Oh, it's so unbelievably bad. Wait, hold on. Hold on. They sent to Save Worm. This negates activation. Okay, well, 7th Tachyon does say you can only activate 1. Oh, if they negate the 7th Tachyon, we might have plays. And if they don't, we might have plays. So, alright, let's see what we can accomplish here. What do we draw for a turn? Let's find out. Oh, that is maybe one of the best draws we could have had. What did they send? Oh, no. Oh, no, they already have the trap. Okay, so never mind. Forget everything I just said. We are cooked. We are officially... How did it get worse? Huh. Well, luckily we did draw Ice, so, yeah, we're just immediately gonna go Ice here. And again, for some reason, they didn't immediately just fire off the trap card. I feel like you always do that. It's like, a monster! And then, you know, you fire off the trap card, and you remove the monsters from the field, and you put up a negate, and you rip a card out of the hand. I don't know, it seems... Okay, sure. Anyway, they allow me to go for Detonator here, so now I have a big-ass Detonator, which is mostly here to threaten the Anti-Spell Fragrance, since we have X in our hand, which does the full combo anyway. Unless their last card in hand is, like, Nibiru, and even that's not necessarily all that good, but, like, I'm feeling pretty confident here. Anyway, we're gonna go X as well, sending the Heraldry Art. I could have gone and sent Aggregator here in order to negate the anti-spell, but I actually don't care. I actually don't care about the anti-spell, and I'll show you why. I just want as much, like, oomph as I can get. We're going to go Leo here to grab up the Griffin as well, since I sent the Stad Whale, since we're not going to use it. We already used our normal. But yeah, I could just make Tornado Dragon. So I just make Tornado Dragon, and I'm like, that one! And now I can actually activate my 7th Tachyon. Is it going to do anything? No, not necessarily, but it's fine. We're going to grab up Star Ryzeal here, and we're just going to detach from our Detonator here, and we're just to summon out the Star, and then we can go cross here, just in case they had something there. But alas, they are going to activate now their trap card. I don't know why this took so long. Actually, I do know exactly why this took so long. So, Super Factorial specifically summons Laplation, right? And Laplation has an effect that's very specific, which is that it sends a monster, it sends a spell, and it sends from hand a card, non-targeting. However, it doesn't always have to send those 3. It can send a monster and a card from hand, or it can send a spell, or a spell trap and a card from hand, or it could just send a monster and a spell if you have no cards in hand. Right, because it detaches up to the number, or up to what you want to send from, right? So, you could just send 2, which would have been way more advantageous for my opponent, seeing as how I was under anti-spell, and they could have prevented the Detonator from hitting the field. However, I think their idea was, they're not going to make Detonator, they're going to go Duo Drive, or they're going to go, I don't know, something else. But alas, I made Detonator, which cooked them. So, I understand it, but they absolutely should have made this way sooner. Anyway, the Blation activates, they're going to then immediately get cooked. Or sorry, they're going to negate the Detonator here, and then away goes a bunch of things. They send the Griffin. Cool. That's great for me, because I really wanted this card. And away goes everything, but then I just activate the Heraldry Art, and it doesn't matter. So, out comes our 2 guys. We're going to go for the Stad Whale and the Leo here, and then just make the Duo Drive, and at this point the game is pretty much over, and the opponent sees the writing on the wall here, and just, like, we attach here, but it doesn't matter. They just concede. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, those were the good games. I wish I was kidding. Those were the good games. Yeah, most games, I would either go first and summon X'd, and the opponent would go, you got it. Or, I would go second, I would see that I didn't draw the necessary hand traps to immediately invalidate my opponent's turn, or they didn't resolve, like, for example, Fool Loss or Maxi, and I would go, Maliss, you got it. That was pretty much how this game went. That is just how Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel currently is. It'll get better, I promise. But only, you know, when Maliss actually gets deleted. Or Abo. Or Maxi. Okay, maybe it won't ever get better. But, at the very least, I do think that this deck is good. I actually do think that even if you were to go for the triple hand rip, for the most part, I don't think it's a good idea. I think you're probably better off just playing, like, one hand rip and just going for, or even not going for the hand rip option. There is another option that you could go for with the heraldry cards. Hold on. With the heraldry cards or the heraldic cards, you could also go for Crest here into your, where is he? It's another, I think it's this guy. Yeah, it's this guy. So it's just a negate. When your opponent activates a monster effect, or declares an attack, you can special summon the Dark Matter, Demolition by using this face-up card you control, and then this guy is a, yeah, and then this guy is a negate. So you could do that, which is like okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It goes through Heraldry Crest, this one, just number 69, which it doesn't seem great because it negates all XZ monsters currently on the field when it's summoned. But like, it's not terrible, right? I don't like it though, because it turns off things like Star Liege and all of that stuff. So for the most part, I'm just like not a fan of it. Also, it's expensive. But that is like another option you could go for, is like you could go Ouroboros, Hand Rip, and then go into this guy instead. Which is, again, not terrible. He's another point of indirection. But again, I think just having like a more difficult to outboard is arguably better. You could still go like Star Liege, Babuska, etc., right? Which I think is just arguably stronger. It's not always stronger. Like, if the opponent has Droplet specifically, it's pretty weak. But other than that, it's pretty strong. And again, if you're hand ripping them, there's a chance that they're not able to actually do anything off of that. So, anyway, for the most part, I do think that this deck is good, and it is an improvement over the previous Ryzeal stuff. I think it's up there with like Ryzeal Fiendsmith and what have you in what it is capable of accomplishing. But it is definitely better than just like regular pure Ryzeal, mostly due to the fact that you just have easier access to additional rank 4s. You could theoretically cut the Heraldic stuff for just additional non-engine, which is an option, but then you're just susceptible to having dead hands that don't really do anything and don't really put any pressure on, especially when you have, you know, a bunch of cards that you really don't want to draw alongside no engine, right? Like, Ryzeal Plugin is a great card to draw if you have plays. Same thing with Ryzeal Cross, same thing with Node and Star and all of these things. It's like, yeah, these are great if you have things to do with them. If you don't, you're kind of cooked. And so for the most part, I think that having the additional points of engine in the deck is very useful. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, like, very much appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.